Welcome to another episode of the True Beast Podcast, brought to you by xdog.com, where you can find the world's greatest fitness and health enhancement harness for dogs, the X-Dog Fitness Vest. Exercising your dog has never been easier than with the X-Dog Fitness Vest. And today is a special day as we're on our third episode, right? On our way to the Abkc Nationals, and we got some very special guests in here, in Jim and Hannah. How you guys doing? Of course, we got Trevor. How's everything going?
Very good.
Good. You excited?
Very excited.
Yeah. So, congratulations on the BCR. Zero winning the national championship. As you know, if you guys didn't know, they own a dog by the name of Zero who has a really strong shot at winning the national championships this year. How long have you guys owned Zero? How did you get Zero? How did that story go about?
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, Zero was produced by Sam.
Yeah.
So that's his outcross breeding with his grip stuff with he was getting too tight with the Rocco stuff, so he did an outcross with an Axel son. Okay. And that's where I think there was like 15 puppies from that there.
Yeah, 14, right?
Yeah, 14 or 15. Yeah.
National winner Axel.
Yeah.
Oh, national winner Axel. It's a big difference.
Yeah, so that's a national winning Axel son to a Rocco granddaughter.
Okay. So Grim daughter?
Yeah. International winning rock.
She's like titled up over here.
Hey,
say it with your chest, my name.
I'm telling you, man. I've seen her at Abkc shows, and you handle a shit ton of dogs. Yeah. So, and she knows her. Yeah, when it comes to handling, she's at the cream of the crop for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was so funny because it's not what Sam's used to producing. He likes really bully dogs. So when the puppies came out, he was like, "What you guys made me do? You know, this is not like the bully dogs that I'm used to, because they were smaller, more correct puppies." So.
Yeah, not like when you get out, they're all smash face, bricked up head. Like when you look at them as a pup, you're like, oh, reindeers, you know?
His reaction was like, man, I got some pit bulls at home. So I went to check them out. Zero was the first puppy I saw, so I picked him up. I said, Sam, keep this puppy, you know, hold on to this dog. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, you know. So he kept like two from the litter.
Yeah.
So he named the other one, the brother, and Zero didn't have a name till he was 7 months old.
Really?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. So he was like, he always says, you know, Jim, you want a puppy? Just let me know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. You know. So when he was 7 months, we've been showing for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been showing other people's dogs for so long.
Yeah.
That I was like, we should just show one of our dogs.
Yeah.
So I told Sam, let me get that puppy that doesn't have a name, you know. I said, that's my favorite one anyway from the litter, so.
Yeah.
So all the dogs from that litter, so his dad's name's Barkwalder.
Mm-hmm.
So almost every dog that came, so a lot of the puppies that came from the litter was Noah's Bark or Bark Twain. Yeah. So it was all Bark. So since he didn't have a name, I was like, oh, let me name him Zero Barks Given.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So we were gonna show him before he was 9 months old. Then all the shows got canceled. So I think it was a good thing because we didn't get to show him till he was like maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
And even before that, people were calling us to say, how do you think he's going to do well in shows? We're like, yeah, I think he's going to grind. And he did grind really fast, like 3 events.
That's good. And so you end up getting this dog, you hit a home run, right? Like right out the gate, you hit a home run. And you say like, you know, and don't get it twisted, guys. When you see this dog in person, it is the perfect definition of a bully dog. I'm talking massive. You know, like when I seen him in person, I couldn't believe how big he was. Like he's just a lot of dog, right? And so, do you think that's obviously an advantage when it comes to the show ring to have a corrected and large dog like that? Is, you know, like when did you know that, you know, he had a really strong shot at winning nationals? There's one thing to grand champ, right? But it's another thing to just.
How old is this dog total? Like
2.5.
He's 2.5. So he's okay.
When did you guys know? Hannah?
I knew from from the moment that he gated by me, and just his personality is different.
Yeah.
You know, he's very in tune. He's when he gates next to me, his movement is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I am like, there's something about him. You know, that he has the bone, he has the look, he has the mass.
Yeah.
And more importantly, he's healthy.
Mhm.
His marries are huge. You know, he's just has everything that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So from a handler standpoint, please do educate these people on what to look for. People that are potentially upcoming handlers, or how to choose winners.
Yeah, when you're talking about gait, you're talking about movement, right?
We have a good idea, but I think people miss knowing how to that's like they don't know what they're doing. Like, wait till we get that dog, you know?
When they're puppies, you look for a little bit more. When they're moving, kind of, they don't move tight. You know, when you look at the rear, they're not tight. Their angulation isn't tight, so they have room to grow into themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you have a dog that's very tight, as it gets older, what happens is, they're gonna get stiff in the
The
rear.
whole body starts moving
Yes.
like a snake, and
Yeah.
it's just, you want to see good pronounced movements
Yes.
and paws, and it's a fascinating thing to
movement.
watch when I'm like, let me look at, like, if I'm really looking at some dogs,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and they have reach. When they're reaching,
Yeah.
you can see that. And they just move together.
Yeah.
But you have to take into consideration they are puppies, so their joints aren't fully together yet.
Yeah.
A lot of it is it's just not together yet. So you have to take that into consideration.
Sure.
When
But
you're
is there a way to, let's say you do notice that, hey, this dog's got some great movement. Is there a way to continue to develop that movement?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I figure so. We
Yeah,
used to
you
say
can't keep them in a crate.
hey, look, you know, that's one of the things I think some people fail to realize.
What do you mean by that, though? You can't keep them in the crate? Because a lot of people crate train their dogs, right? Yeah, so for a show dog, like, leave them out, or?
Oh no, I mean, you would teach them you would crate train a dog. 'Cause
Yeah.
if they get sick, or if something comes up, they need to be in a crate, you have to put them in there. So
Yeah.
I'm not against crate training dogs. But at the same time, you can't leave them in there for 8 hours and expect them to become, to
Yeah.
flourish and to grow, like
Yeah.
how they need to be, or to grow into their joints and to
Sure.
grow into what they are.
And part of anything, even ergonomically from inside, as far as development goes, is usage, right? And if you do not use it, it is not developed correctly. So there's even a way.
I was gonna think you were gonna say something else.
No.
Jim talks. You're
There's a way to even correct easty-westy if you get them standing on their toes before those plate close. If you really know what you're doing.
So, I had visited a yard one time, right? I'm not gonna say the individual's name, but
You should.
well, I'm not going to. But he had his, what do you call it, a zip line, right? And he had the dogs up, but it was like the dogs could touch the ground, right? They could touch the ground, but it was just like they could barely, like it was just right at that thin line. And all his dogs' feet were really tight, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why, because dogs could run back and forth. It would go downhill, get the food, come back up, had shelter, could climb up into the thing, but anything else in the yard, his feet were tight, like they weren't here, and so I think that was a strategic way that they did it. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to say people's names, because it's just, I don't know, I never say people's names and shit, but I was like, man, that no wonder his dog's feet are so tight, because there's never no pressure, like there's, they're never just sitting there and heavy.
And you corrected any issues anyway, just tighten it up and give them some strength. It's kind of like the monks who start off hitting sand, and then by 25 years later they're hitting concrete with no stress really in their knuckles.
And it's a heavy breed. So
Yeah.
if they're not moving, if you're not taking pressure off those joints.
Yeah.
Food for
It's
thought.
detrimental.
Food for thought.
Bravado, like I don't keep, most of my dogs stay in the cage, but he free roams the house. Like he's chill, you know what I mean? Like he may go in and grab the towel from the kitchen, but that's about it. Like he's not gonna.
But that's even on the training side, what you're saying. I know that, on the Frenchie side, I'm friends with Sergio Valdez, who got AGOT.
Yes.
And he'll tell you the minute the puppies start standing up, I've got the pictures of his own puppies, he's stacking them.
Yeah.
He's feeding them here, playing with their feet at 4 weeks old.
Yeah.
So even when she's like, hey, we keep 2 dogs, like, do you know how much energy goes into 1 dog?
Yeah. So
Imagine having 10 of them things, you're like, yeah, we gotta get them all ready. Like,
let's bring this back. So did you guys get into let's go back to when you first initially started getting into the game, like the bully game. What sparked your interest? Were you guys together at that time, or did you guys meet each other in the bully game, or did you guys say, hey, we're together, let's get into this dog game? What inspired that?
Oh, we were showing dogs. We were in a boarding school in the Philippines, but we started showing dogs. We started doing Labrador to Beagle. And we, she's from Hawaii, so growing up, she's had like pit bulls are everywhere. So we started getting pit bulls, and we started doing UKC out here, in Illinois. So when we started doing UKC, it was before Abkc was around.
Yeah.
So I was at a UKC show in California where bully breeders showed up, and they didn't show their dogs, but they were just hanging around. There wasn't any bully registries back then, so the exhibitors called the cops. So, we got some gangsters hanging out. So they got kicked out. And
when was this? What year was this?
It was 2004.
Dude, I promise you, I think I've probably seen you guys out in California. I remember I used to go out there, and that's when Paco wasn't like, it was like when he first started hitting the scene. Yeah. And I saw a bunch of Asians. I was like, man, maybe that's Jim.
So you remember the message boards? Because I used
I used to be on the message boards, man, way back in the day.
Yeah, so after that show, everybody was on the message board saying, they kicked us out, and blah, blah, blah. So that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's how the breed got, really how it started. American Bully was because of that show.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, we just, before even the breed came along, we were already doing it. So with that transition, like how the breed was born, we were just, from the start, we were just we didn't.
We just kept in the scene until now.
And then you just decided to be a handler, or like how did that work?
Well, I've been a handler, so I was handling, like I said, Beagles and Labradors, so for all breed. I did step back a little bit because I was, finished my career and had that take off, and then now I'm back into it, and it's just natural. You look for something, and the reason why is you look for something where I didn't want to be the one always breeding. I wanted to be part of the scene, but in a productive way, because we became kind of sticklers in our own way of what we wanted to breed and things like that, and we kind of became very ethical with what we were doing. So we're like, I don't really want to breed right now. So we had to find something. So he found photography, I found handling, and it just worked. Yeah, and you take phenomenal photos, man. Like, you really know how to express the dog's, features and stuff like that. And that's awesome. It's like when you said, like, I've always been part of the community, but I had to step back myself. I was like, man, like, I'm not gonna, I hit hard times, and I was like, man, this isn't gonna work for me to be a breeder, And so, but I still always watch, and I watch, and so I have that eye from 2004, 2003, 2004. I still have that eye. So when I started meeting you guys and stuff like that, I was like, man, the evolution and what you guys have, and I saw Zero, I was like, this is fucking bananas, man. Like, could you imagine Zero if he came out in like 2005, 2006? Holy shit, he'd have been a $10 million dog. Somebody And so, as far as like your guys' goals, like what are some of your goals with the breed and in general? Like, how long you guys see yourself doing this forever? You guys, now that you have Zero, do you plan on building a legacy with him, or what's up?
Yeah, we take it day by day. It's not, we don't, because we're not really breeders. But it's a lifestyle for us. Just like I said, we wanted to be involved with the lifestyle without breeding. Like, she's handled dogs. I take pictures. I'm a judge for Abkc, so it's I think it's it's always going to be part of our life.
As far as judging, how tough is that? Do you get a lot of flack if not choosing certain dogs, and
at first, you can't make everybody happy. Like I said, I didn't write the standards.
I'll shoot the messenger.
It's everybody has their own way of evaluating dogs, I guess. So I have my own way too. I try not to look for faults. It's always, what you like about the dog. It's the same thing with almost everything, I think, even with the bully world. I'm not in the bully world because what I hate about what's in the bully world, we're in it because what we love about it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing when I'm judging dogs. I'm looking for what I like about the dogs based on the standard.
Yeah.
And you know what the breed needs. So you'll go to different parts of the country or around the world where you'll get a whole different, you know, style of bully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it changes. It's always changing. So you're not, when you're breeding, you're not just always looking for that one dog, because that one dog doesn't exist. So it's always based on the standard. It's what's your interpretation of the standard. If I'm going to go to a show where it's all classics, and I'm looking for a bully dog, and I might lean toward a dog that has a little bit more flaws than the super correct dog that's all I see, but they lack type. So at that moment, that show, I might be leaning towards just to pull the whole breed or lineup back to that style of dog. And it goes the other way too. If I go to another show where it's a lot of really bully extreme dogs and no correct dogs, I might lean towards the correct dog just to pull the whole
balance it out.
Yeah, just to, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
And it's what the breed needs really. I mean, conformation show is a place to evaluate the the breeding stock.
Yeah.
So it's not always that one dog is the standard. I'm always going to pick this one dog up. I mean, there's always that dog that's always considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there like a big conflict of interest now, like as far as just like you owning Zero and then being an ABKC judge?
Yeah. I turned down a lot of assignments when now that we're camping Zero.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been judging a lot.
Yeah. And so obviously judges have a lot of influence then, I guess, when it comes to the breed standard, as far as like you can be influential in a way when you think about it, right? Like if you're going towards like a more, you say you get more standard, what do you call it, a standard dog, and then you select a more bullier breed, and then you go to a more bullier breed show, and then you pick more of the standard.
Yeah, but I mean, the goal is a dog like Zero, like Blue, that's what we're all looking for, is that, because you'll see this classic dog, they'll say, oh, he moves well, but he doesn't have that type that we're looking for. And you'll see a really muscle tone type dog that can't move. So Zero and Blue, these dogs are the type of dogs that have mass. They're 90-pound dogs that can move and are balanced. So this is the goal. So even if you ask Dave right now, you'll see he's really excited about the show world right now, what the dogs that are being shown right now, because this is like the goal.
Yeah. And so you've had a lot of dogs. Names in the case, what would you say Zero, some of his top features and strengths are? And then if you were to point out any weakness in him, what would you point out?
Actually, I talked to Jim about this, and he asked me from the get. He's like, "What is his strongest? What do you think his strongest feature is?" I named a lot of different things, and he said it's his movement.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're right. I was getting there."
Yeah.
But it really is his movement.
Yeah.
He's just the way he carries himself for the much mass he has on such a short dog. It's insane.
Yeah. That's why I was like said when I said seen him in person, it was just like, what? It's just like when I seen Blue in person, I was like, what? The pictures don't do him any justice.
Yeah.
And because you look at him, you're like, man, maybe 60, 70 pound dog in the photos, and you see him like, whoa. He's a 90 pound, true 90 pound dog.
Yeah.
Right. And so the movement is, so what would you say his weakness is?
For me as a handler, I have a hard time feeding him.
Really?
He plays mind games with me.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially before competition.
Yeah. Was it that he doesn't want to eat very much, or want to eat as much as you want him to, or?
Yeah, because I usually tend to bulk him up before the competition. So yeah, he doesn't want to eat as much so I have to fast him.
Yeah.
We have to go through a whole cycle of things. So and of course I give him the supplements, so he keeps, at least he has his nutrition and all that.
Because when you think of like show weight and pet weight, it's different. They're technically overweight, in a way, especially like on the conformation side, like when you really think about it, And so it is challenging, you know. I mean, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to feeding. I mean, I fast my dogs 4 times a month, where I switch from morning and evening. Still, motherfuckers are picky sometimes, you know. Like, you left all that shit in the bowl right there. You didn't eat for 24 hours.
I cut that up for you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and then putting it back in the bag, and they won't even still eat it next day because it's not fresh. You know?
Yeah. People don't realize the work, you know, behind
The science, yeah, and the
I mean,
systems.
just for Zero and Blue, I know. Like even when we were showing Rocco and Con, we would go to handling class maybe 2 times a week.
Mhm.
So that's, you know, almost 2 hours every other day, right?
3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. So a lot of people think, you know, just because you have a nice dog, you're gonna kill it and show or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for Zero, when we travel, we leave Friday, drive the whole night to wherever we're going,
Mhm.
go to a Georgia show, drive the whole back, and then, you know, the whole day, when we get home Monday, it's the same routine back,
Mhm.
you know, confirmation class, it's
Yeah.
non-stop.
Very disciplined, very
Yeah.
strict.
And
Yeah.
it's not just that.
Yeah, the diet is crazy.
How are, like, do you run into issues as far as traveling, as far as him eating while he's on the road?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I do really bulk him up like the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really bulk him up because I know he's gonna lose like a couple pounds before.
See, some golden nuggets right there. Especially if you're going to compete your dogs in the shows, you know, dealing with that, like,
And we do chiropractor too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have
Chiropractors.
everything
are
aligned. Yeah. We have great chiropractors.
Zero, that's great.
Not me. My back could be all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, being aligned
Just
is,
zero.
I think that alignment also helps with the movement, you know?
Absolutely.
when
He
you're-
walks lighter.
Yeah, he does.
Mhm.
As far as like, so the chiropractor does he do any like acupuncture or anything like that?
Actually, I've been looking into acupuncture to see because they said it's really good for digestion too.
Yeah.
Yeah, get some blood flowing and all that. Lots certain things. So I'm looking into that, but
The libido, so
Yeah.
get ready for a breeding. Take him,
Well,
take him to the acupuncture, get him out. So, how many litters right now does Zero have on the ground, or is he getting a lot of demand for him right now as far as breeding wise?
yeah. It's not as much as Golden Child.
Yeah. So, Golden Child, I mean, between Sam and Khan, I know like everybody who's in it for money or just like, fuck, I hate these guys.
Like we're not even gonna look at their page anymore.
Yeah, and then, you know, Khan like does it on purpose. He's just like, thank you, Oklahoma, Hawaii, Egypt. These sent 7 packages out today. Thank you for all your help. And the next day, thank you for all your help. Thank you guys. It's like, okay, dude, I get it, man. Colossus, you got to see him in person.
Colossus? No, we haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Not, I think when it was a puppy.
Yeah.
Puppy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I,
What else is being hidden in Chicago up there?
Oh,
Oh,
there's
wow.
always a surprise from Chicago.
Yeah. Would you say, okay, you guys been around, top 5 states with bulls? Top 5 states, right now.
right now. Illinois.
So,
That Midwest is pretty strong. Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy because maybe like 5 years ago, we didn't have any nice dogs. Well, people
Yeah.
say we didn't have any, so it was always California and Texas. So
Yeah.
right now, because I think nobody really wanted to spend their money for a nice dog out in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Midwest is frugal.
Yeah.
They're frugal, they don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
And we're far from all the shows too.
Mm.
Like the
We
best
have
shows.
to travel, yeah. So
Best
getting
shows.
good
Even in
competition.
Florida,
So-
New York.
Illinois, Cali, Texas.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Just name one.
I think Georgia area that they always had a big turnout for sure.
Do you think it's a competitive advantage up in Illinois because it's colder, dogs are going to tend to eat more? So, you know what I mean? Like compared to a warmer climate place? Because, for example, Chris Moore, who has Old English, you know Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's like, hey, I'm going to move to West Virginia because he wants to take it to the next level. And he can't do it in Texas because it's just too hot, you know?
Yeah.
And so to get him more bullier, which I don't know how he's going to do it, but, you know, like, but he's got a vision and, you know, like, he's like, I got to go somewhere that's colder, you know?
Yeah.
And so-
I keep telling everybody, you know, how everybody said, I've seen a dog with the biggest head.
Yeah.
I went to Chris's place and that,
Yeah.
I've never seen a dog with that
Yeah.
big.
Yeah,
He's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I love
insane.
his old.
Have you know Chris? Okay. We're gonna bring him on the podcast. Yeah, we're gonna bring him. He specializes in Old English.
Some
Yeah.
real freaking 30-inch head dog.
Literally. Yeah, he does very well. I guess in the Abkc as far as like showing wise, they win a lot with the oldies, So, but yeah, man. So you got the national championships coming up, right? How are your nerves? Like, what do you do to prepare when you're going into the ring? Because you're gonna be showing a lot of people's dogs. Obviously, you're handling Zero, right? And so, does the nerves get to you differently with him compared to other dogs? They're not yours?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. They always told me that if you have your own dog and he's in that position,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel it, and I do feel it.
Yeah. A lot of
But I do have other people's dogs that I'm handling this weekend.
Yeah.
And I have a holder that's helping me.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of streamline the process.
Yeah.
So,
Get some of those nerves out of that.
yeah. Yeah. The more, if you just, I have to just keep thinking it's another show. That's the mindset.
Walk the audience through like how a national championship show goes as a handler. Like how many shows are there? It's an all-day event, obviously. Like when's it start? When's it finish?
I believe it starts at around 11 with the award ceremony for Top Dog. So
Yeah.
who's going to be there is
Yeah.
receiving the Top Dog honor.
Okay, so what does that mean by getting top dog?
That means you competed all year and you won the most breed points.
Okay. And how many points you usually got to get to win most big points?
You
In
just
most
have to
cases.
get the most out of all the dogs that are competing.
What's the highest you've ever seen?
What is it? Well, 77, I think, right now. 77 because they've been competing for 2 years.
Yeah.
But typically, I think the biggest one for 1 year, because it's usually it resets every year.
Yeah.
So I believe Bear was 73? 72? Something like that.
Bear is.
Bear.
Okay.
And that's 1 year time period. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of traveling for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, I'm gonna have to go and shoot. But I appreciate meeting you guys, and I'm sure see you again. David's here with Blue, and I told him to bring his ass back, so that's the only reason why I've been quiet. I'm like, man, I wonder where he's going.
Well, we're gonna cut this short.
Okay.
Give it a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Because we definitely want to shoot Zero today. Too.
Yeah, no, and you're good. Keep going. I'm like itching like a kid on Christmas because I know what I can do with this video in about 25 seconds.
But yeah, so if you need to go ahead, man. Because I got a lot more questions.
keep going, guys. Thank you for your time so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, Trevor's he's a remarkable film guy. By the way, he's really, he can do things like, it's kind of crazy, like, he'll film something, I'm like, did you get enough? And the next thing you know, he sends it over like 30 minutes later, like, oh shit, he's really efficient. And so, all right, so outside of Zero, right, what are some of your favorite yards or favorite programs outside of like your program and let's say Sam's, right? Like what other programs out there like you think have a really bright future in the community?
I think, there's a lot of sides to bully, breed.
Yeah.
There's the show side and there's like the hype side.
Yeah.
Sam's actually more of the hype stuff that we just get these like best dogs and show it.
And what do you mean by hype? Like hype dogs are like dogs that are very popular and tend to be used a lot, right?
Yeah. So it's dogs that you don't even have to show.
Mhm.
People like them.
I think one of the legendary dogs was like Remy. He was a hype dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's dogs like that.
Yeah.
They don't have to step into showing to.
Well, why do you think there's such a big separation there?
I think it's more like branding.
Yeah.
If I want to build a hype dog and building a brand,
Mhm.
if I take him to the showing and he doesn't do well, it might ruin his brand. So
Yeah.
I just build that brand outside the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be earning stuff. He's gonna have a career outside the show ring.
Yeah.
And we do so. The other side of us, what we do is the show stuff. We don't. It's what we do in the show ring is not really.
Well, you see, you look at a dog like Precious, right? Or that dog that you had shown me earlier on.
Napalm.
Yeah, Napalm. They're beautiful. But then you look at a dog like Golden Child, we would consider Golden Child a hype dog, right? Like he's getting a lot of breedings and stuff. Not necessarily great for the show ring, but as far as
Hey, listen, people. Sometimes our topics get a little bit longer. We don't want to cut it just at 30. If we're really rolling, we keep this thing going. Therefore, at the end of our YouTube, you will see, hey, jump on the links listed below. Follow us on Spotify,
Sure.
Apple,
Sure.
where else? Google.
Wherever else you guys
Wherever-
listen us at.
Yeah, wherever we're listed at, and continue to follow and listen to the show, whatever we're talking about. Hopefully you enjoy the topics. Stay tuned. Appreciate you guys' support.
Yeah, and as always, man, leave us a comment, subscribe, share. In the comments or in the reviews, also, leave us some topics that you would like us to discuss. We don't hold back, so if you want us to talk about something, be sure to leave it there. So, as always,
Team X Dog Strong.